Good morning and many thanks for keeping it Smart 24 TV. How are you doing? Hope you're okay. This is Smart Means Business. I'm Jerome Paul Sonko, and of course we're off to yet another segment of the show. The show that kickstarts off at 6:30 a.m. with the news recap entirely is here to give you all your daily business updates as they are transpiring across the business world. And of course, I'm your host, Jerome Paul Sonko, to take you through or to usher you into a new brand business situation where you will definitely fit in comfortably. Hope you're doing all right, and hope this morning is giving you all that matters, hope and a lot of optimism as we're coming close to the end of the month, but not only the end of the month, of course, also coming to the end of the year, which will be Saturday, the 31st of December, 2022. And of course, ushering in January 2023 with a brand new situation that will be on fast on Sunday. So January is ahead of us, and we are apparently here to make sure that we understand how business is moving, and we as well position ourselves ably into a situation which is going to make us more comfortable and more knowledgeable about how business is moving in the countries nearby, as well as how the business is moving in within our own societies. And of course, if we are to continue containing that business speed, you never know how far we shall go in the year 2023. It is a year that everybody looks at as well, because every time the year is starting, every other person is going to gain from that year. Not all people gain from the year that comes by, but at least there is always an individual who benefits more from a given year, and then there are those who actually find it quite difficult. But still, if you pass through the year and then you make ends meet at the end of it all, you're definitely becoming a champion of the same good cause. Well, of course, here on Smart 24 TV, we don't only give you business updates, but we also inform you and relatively give you ideas on how best you can invest your money. And if I'm to speak about how best you can invest your money, then there is a platform called Zabu that is giving you the ideas and giving you the advantage. Use the USSD code *292# and you will definitely follow the prompts on the Zabu platform. For those who have not yet registered any of their accounts with Zabu, please do so by using your NIN, and after 24 hours, you'll be able to invest in bonds and securities. But please do not. With Zabu, they are apparently telling you that with only a minimum of 15,000 Ugandan shillings, you can invest in bonds and securities. So it's that simple and that cheap and efficient if you ever want to be part of Uganda's investment journey. Well, the markets open officially at 8:15 a.m. East African Standard Time and close at 3:15 p.m. East African Standard Time. These markets are open from Monday to Friday. They are only closed during weekends and during public holidays. Well, and if we're to speak about the public holidays, December has officially closed down the tables for the public holidays. We're only left with one weekend, which is this coming up on 31st, and then first will be January 2023. So in January, the only two public holidays that we have is first, which comes on the weekend, and of course 26th January, which will be coming on later on in the other days to come in the month of January, if you're to look at that. But of course, it is highly expected that you should be someone inclusive of the financial market space in Uganda by practicing and taking part practically, because that way you will know how best you can involve yourself in investing and of course saving for investment at the expense of the rest who are not actively engaging in Uganda's investment journey. And here, Smart Means Business, we switch our eyes off to the business update as we look at assessing the performance of the micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, where we've apparently got to see some improvements, some economic improvements. Remember, at the start of the year, this is when the African Continental Free Trade Area was as well implemented, and most of the MSMEs were taught and went through different trainings to enhance their capabilities and as well position themselves into utilizing the chances and the opportunities presented by the AFCFTA. Now, there is also a need for the business people to be involved in policy making, according to this same business update that we do have. As the year 2023 comes ahead of us, we also need more interactions between the government and those under the MSME sector. Let's get more of this particular one in our morning update this early hour.
The first 6 months of the financial year, yeah, there are ups and downs. One thing you must know is the environment is not yet so good. However, there are indications of improvement. But other than that, there are also challenges. And I think that the government should look into this. I mean, for God's sake, is this the best time to increase the interest rates? Doesn't that maybe, isn't it a negative progress towards the increasing aggregate demand? Because we still had a challenge of a low aggregate demand. Now, certain policies, I think, must be discussed in a view of not only the fiscal policy, but also in a view of business development. I think the best idea would be is that when passing certain policies, the business community must be involved so that we know the implications of certain policies, be it fiscal or any other. What will be the implication on the business community? So I think going forward, yes, in the first 6 months, there have been ups and downs, but I think going forward is that we must interact more between government and the business community for us to get proper policies.
If I'm to assess 2022, it has been very, I think it's a much better year than 2020 and 2021, because for the first time in the last 3 years, it's the only year that we missed having a lockdown. So people have rebooted themselves, people have energized themselves, and people probably are now working harder to strengthen their businesses. I'm sure this year has been challenging, but it's a much better year probably than the last 2 years.
Yeah. So do you expect maybe positive results come next year?
There is no doubt. There is no doubt. I think the issue of rent has been addressed now. Most people now are aligning well with the rent areas. So I'm sure the biggest challenge now is capital. Next year they will be looking for capital and also strengthening the other operation aspects like sales, marketing, and I'm sure next year will be a much better year. I also had to close one shop actually, and frankly, most people, I won't be surprised also if next year other people will be closing. This year, we've had so many businesses that closed and have turned into agriculture, which is not also as much rewarding like business. But I'm hopeful that next year, business will be on a much positive side. There are two aspects here. I can see most businesses have been hit. Some of our section of traders import from China. For the last 3 years, China is closed, so they cannot access their goods. That is one. And also the small traders who left shops and then they went into working. They're also facing it hard on the streets. They can't conduct their businesses here. So the money is dwindling every day. People are becoming poorer every day. They cannot access cheap loans. And those who can access cheap loans, they don't know how to. Most of them have lost addresses, and that is key in getting financial assistance from financial institutions.
Well, indeed, engagements with the government would definitely be some good chance for the MSMEs, especially those who are unfavorably passing through the hard times here during the COVID-19 situation, and of course the aftermath of it, and then now the effects of the Ukraine and Russia war, that is the Russian invasion over Ukraine. So all those things will definitely not account for, if at all most of them have chances of survival and have at least a shoulder to cry on or to lean on through the government. Now, basically, when you look at the MSME sector here in Uganda, one of which is predominantly looking at the SMEs, which has the largest percentage of self-employed Ugandans. That is for the SME sector. And then not only that, it also employs Uganda, because there are those with businesses that employ 1 to 2 to 3 people, especially those under the medium-sized enterprises, the people who actually employ quite a number of Ugandans out there who were deemed jobless back in the time. Now, pretty much a time when you as well try to look back. The year is coming to an end. This is a sector whereby flexibility is key, especially under the SMEs. Forget the micro, which in most cases is highly not considered under the SMEs, but under the MSMEs. Now, the SMEs sector, for example, where you get to realize the small enterprises, these ones are favorably those who engage in quite a number of businesses, which also include outdoor. However, this year we've got to see a transition of business that most people end up utilizing now the digital space. It's not more about the physical appearance of your shop or somewhere. You can still do any business by just sitting home and having your catalog set out, for example, in your WhatsApp, and then getting the rightful contacts, setting up your website or setting up your WhatsApp business, or even any account on social media, be it Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, and then you can easily contact the responsible buyers at the end of the day. So when you look at the fact that the SMEs are the engine of growth for the economic development of Uganda, they are spread across various sectors. Now, this will actually combine the entire scope, the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, with 49% of these are in the service sector, those who are engaging in activations of business under the sector. 49% are in the service sector. Then we've got 33% who are in commerce and trade, 10% are in manufacturing, and then 8% are in the other ventures of life. Now, when you look at the sector, it has got enormous size and contribution to the economy, but however, it has been facing a lot of challenges ever since the year started. But well, there are those who have actually passed through, and there are those who are still containing this same pressure. And that is it for our morning update this morning. Now let's get into the press review. I have the Daily Monitor and the New Vision. And now with the press review, the New Vision has highlighted government sets fees for private schools. As according to the New Vision, no tuition in government institutions. Now head teachers are reacting to this one. How are they reacting? What is their reply according to what the government has apparently set for these particular fees? You can get that and more from the Daily Monitor this morning. Now, also on the other hand, conservationists concerned over botanical gardens encroachment. The botanical gardens in Entebbe, you can still get more of these particular ones with the New Vision as well, and it's something that you definitely get to realize. Now, from the other situation, there's something about more to do with the year 2023, what to expect. Economists out there say on what to expect in 2023 according to how we have passed through 2022 what government is going to use the 9.6 trillion for the next financial year. And then you can see where the money is definitely going to be going to and how it's going to be dispersed, which sectors will be receiving. Yesterday, we got to realize that the biggest sectors that will be prioritized this time around will include education and, of course, looking at the fact that also health, among others, will be considered. So that is exactly what you can see this particular morning from the Daily Monitor and the New Vision. And that is it from the press review this morning. Let's cross over now to the traffic updates to see what is happening and coming in from which routes and how best can you peruse through as you're moving out to head to town. Right, as we wait to link up with the team on ground this morning for the traffic updates, you get to realize that the year is coming to an end. I think one of the biggest discussions that has been going online is how the year 2022 has treated the business community, how it has actually treated the entire country, how the people across Africa, across the region have survived, how have we been able to at least treat this year quite different from the way it was in 2021. Well, pretty much it's time when you get to realize that it was not that easy a year and it was not that hard for some. So the year does not always come or end preferably well for everybody, but again, it does not perform poorly for others. So people who actually position themselves heavily end up benefiting from the same. And when some people are apparently getting more of these particular details, you get to realize that it's something that people get to understand more of how best we are positioning ourselves. Well, pretty much the other side of the coin is benefiting and positioning ourselves to become to actually become the best of ourselves at the end of the day, and how we become the best of the rest with the other people. But of course, the year is coming to an end, and this means one or two things. When you're preparing for a new year, you're sitting down, you're getting your notes down to write something, to write down your new year prospects. You're writing down things that you believe will be very helpful and important to you. But again, at the end of the day, you are as well trying to understand that 2022 may not have been a good year. Then you have to come back stronger in 2023. So there are lots of things to understand, but you have to first pick up from the lessons of 2022 as you prepare yourself in 2023. Now let's head to the let's head to the traffic updates this morning to see how traffic is moving in, within and out of Kampala. In from Bwaise, the Bombo Road, as you can see, and apparently this is one of the most busiest Kampala suburbs during the time away from the festive season. But simply because we're still in the aftermath of the Christmas celebrations, you'll get to realize that apparently there are very few vehicles coming in from there. And at a time when we are trying to reconsider and get ourselves back onto the rightful methods, or try ourselves to get back into the rightful way of doing things, is that at the end of it all, you apparently get to realize that following the speed that is coming up here and there, only taxis are filling up the roads as early in the morning. The borders too, the other means of transport that is actually hitting the roads the entire week, but businesses are opening up as usual. Not in the big pickup hours of the day, simply because you can as well is because sometimes during such times, this is a week whereby someone yesterday on Twitter apparently said that it's as if we are in a lousy week, because it is not, it's the vibe of work is not yet up. Maybe people are waiting for the new year as of 2nd January on Monday to pick up, because we shall be comparing how people have been turning up this entire week to the next one. But according to what is there at Bombo Road, that is Boaise, the Boaise junction there, you get to realize that it's not that busy yet this morning. The cleaning as usual in the morning by those responsible does happen, but not only that, you get to realize that the vehicles are as well moving in different corners. Then we've got borders which are actually taking the highest percentage of transportation this morning, plus the taxis. Then very few of vehicles that are personal that are actually moving in at this time. Then at the end of the day, you get to realize that it is because of Christmas hiding, that because many people traveled, others have a leave. So when you have a working leave, you get to realize that the best way to do so is to sit back, watch everything transpire, and then after that, you'll be getting more of the situation that comes in from there. Well, of course, as the traffic is actually flowing for the people who are actually using Bombo, those who are coming in from Boaise, you get to realize the road is not that busy. And it has been the same case this week entirely from all areas around Kampala, around Uganda. It is only traffic that is highly expected to pick up late in the evening hours along the Kampala-Masaka highway, simply because most of the people are using that road to get back to the city. So, but most probably at this particular time, you get to realize that the businesses are picking up, few clients, and when it comes to the transportation sector, very few when it comes to the turn-up, because like I said, most people are actually back home and trying to organize themselves ahead of 2023. And then the others are trying to set a pace to see how they will be surviving in the upcoming year. And that is some sort of a situation whereby you as an individual need to as well position yourself if we are to start off from trying to imagine how 2023 will be. And in regards to the traffic situation, that is what is happening. That is what is coming in on ground. And that is how different situations are. And so you as an individual, get yourself situations and try to wake yourself up and see how you're going to become the best version of yourself in the next few years. Well, preferably, we as an individual, we are getting ourselves up and running. But the business community for the transportation sector, apparently, as you can see, the borders and, of course, the rest of the other people are actually becoming the rest of the people to engage in the business activations. And so that is it when it comes to the business update and the traffic flow around Boaise Bombo Road. When I do return after the break, we shall be looking at Caribou East Africa and, of course, the SMB International News. Good morning.